You know, Dave, every week we're here at the CCA Workbench, and we got to talk about products, but right now
we're talking
it's about
crappie.
rigs and techniques.
I'm kind of the bad guy to talk about it. Every time I go to try to catch a crappie, I catch a bass, it seems like. But
Oh, that's a high-class problem.
yeah, it
Dave.
is, isn't it? Well, there's two species of crappie in Texas, so a white crappie and a black crappie. And a white crappie has a more regular pattern with bars on it, and a black crappie, he's splotchy all over, although the white crappie will splotch up during spawning season. So you got two different kinds. The white crappie is all over the state, and the black crappie is mainly in East Texas in the clear water there.
Gotcha.
So you got two different ones out there. It doesn't really matter because they both eat the same. They're both delicious.
Right.
So, and you can catch 25 per person.
Right.
And they have to be 10 inches long minimum in Texas.
So you don't think that because they're crappie fishing so good in the summertime, it has nothing whatsoever to do with the species being one is more heat driven versus one is cool?
No. The good thing about it is, I've read a lot of stuff online about them. Texas got a lot of rain over the wintertime and the fall last year, so the crappie fishing is really good. They like to have a lot of fresh water, new fresh water in there. It washes all those nutrients into the lake. The little microorganisms that the babies eat bloom. And just like he said, when you got all that bait and everything else, then the crappie fishing is really good. So they have it like a boom and a bust.
Right.
They have to have those big high limits because the more crappie you take out, it allows them to get bigger. If you don't take a lot of them out, then
they all the same size stagnant.
And they get smaller.
So how are we going to catch them?
Well, there's 4 different ways. You can troll, you can still fish, just sitting there. You can drift. And you can cast, just like regular fishing. But what the hardest thing to do is to locate them, And what you're wanting to do is you're wanting to find submerged cover, a creek bed, brush piles like he was talking about. A lot of guys go out and make their own brush piles.
They like structure.
Exactly. And in the summertime, they get real deep. When as soon as it gets real hot, they get deeper and deeper. Right now in the spawn, you can find them in, water usually less than 15 feet deep. They get up around those willows and around cove areas or docks, bridges, piers, they're kind of like the dolphin fish of fresh water. If there's something that they can hang around, that's what they'll do. And if you get to a spot and you sit there and fish for 10 or 15 minutes and you don't get a bite, especially if you're using a live minnow, move on, because when you start catching them, you'll catch them. They're not solitary guys. If you start catching one, you're going to catch more. They're there, and they're either you're not doing something right if you only catch one. You need to do something else or move.
Right.
But like I said, in the summertime they're going to be really, really deep, and and right now is a good time to go night fishing for them too, like he was saying.
Because it's cooler, obviously.
That's right. At night it's cool, and the fish will come up a little bit from that deep if they're in the deep water, and you hang a light and it attracts the bait. I've even heard of guys, I read something online yesterday, they put minnows in a jar and lower a jar down full of minnows, live minnows. The crappie will come to the jar.
Under the light.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not.
I like that trickery.
It is trickery. And when you're fishing for a crappie, you can use everything from a cane pole to a little spinning rod. And I got it right there behind you.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry. Big cane pole.
You better get with it, Dave, or you're gonna run out of time.
I know. If I had cane poles like this when I was a kid, I probably would have never went to a spinning rod. But it's all tangled up now. You're screwed. Yeah. But anyway, that's 8-pound test line, and I've got a little horsehead jig on there with a lake fork. Believe it or not, they make their own. A company out there makes a jig style of soft bait that's named after the lakes we're fishing in a lot in Texas. But that's a little pretty jig on there. And what you do is you fish that jig under a float, just like, boy, you've got it really messed.
This is a real show.
Oh man, you got it in my live bait rig too, didn't you?
I got it in your live bait rig.
Yeah.
I got it.
Well,
Dave, you did me wrong on this one.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh,
anyway,
boy.
the best bait to use for them, beside all this jigs and all this other stuff, is a live minnow. A 2.5 inch minnow on a single hook. Fished. Between 15 and 20 feet deep in the summer and shallower. Use your depth finder. Find the concentrations, and then you can just bust their butt.
Good
Live
job.
minnows, especially.
Good. Live bait.
Live bait always works.
You know what they say? On a sleep late, use live bait.
That's right. Exactly right.